Yeah, it probably just said something to you. And then, let's see. Okay, and hopefully you can see that. Someone like interrupt me if you can't see that. But, okay, so we're going through graphing and solving systems of equations. So the first thing is we have this equation right here, y equals mx plus b. And you should have seen this equation before. Remember, we've talked about this in class, like when we were doing the ACT questions and stuff, but m is always your slope. So whatever's in front of x is always your slope. And b is always your y-intercept. And there's going to be a question on the quiz that's going to literally say, like, what is the slope of this and what is the y-intercept? So if you're given the equation y equals 2x minus 1, all you have to do here is, well, okay, the slope there is 2, and the y-intercept is negative 1. Okay, and if you were to graph this, which I didn't put the graph on here, so I can't like graph it, but you would just go down to on the y-axis, and that would be your starting point. And since the slope is 2, you'd go up 2, and then you'd go over 1. Then you go up 2 over 1, and that would be the line for that. Here's another one. So y equals 1/2 x plus 4. Well, that 1/2 is our slope, and the y-intercept is 4. Okay, this last one. Here, the slope, so y equals negative 3x minus 1/3. The slope is negative 3, and the y-intercept is negative 1/3. Okay, pretty simple, not too bad. If there's questions, just interrupt me. And when you're doing this, so when you graph these, and a lot of the assignment today, and I will go like show you some of this assignment after I go through this, is just asking you like to identify like the points on this. So here, that point right there, if you have two lines and they cross at that one spot, that is your solution right there. So that whatever that point is, which it looks like it's like 3, 2 or something, that would be the one solution. If you have parallel lines that never cross, that's no solutions. And if it's the same exact line on top of each other, that's infinite solutions. Okay, so I would maybe like draw this diagram or just be able to just remember if they cross at one point, it's one solution. If they're parallel, it's no solutions. And if they cross at the same point, if they're the same exact line, then that's infinite solutions. Okay. Is there questions with that at all? There are, interrupt me. Okay. And then for those of you that are like just joining, I started recording the beginning, so you can go back and look at it if you need to. And then solving systems by substitution. So basically, you're going to be given two equations. So we're given these two equations right here. In this case, one of them was already solved for y, so that we can plug it in and then go through and finish solving. So I want to do this example. If you have paper, I would pull your paper out and do it with me. So we have negative 4x plus 5y equals 24, and negative 6x plus y equals negative 16. So when I look at this, like these two, the negative 4x and the negative 6x, that's not helping me that much. Like that doesn't look super easy to solve for. And then the 5y and the y, this y right here would be easy to solve for. So I'm going to solve that bottom equation for y. And to do that, I'm just going to add the 6x over to the right side of this equation. So that's going to be y equals 6x plus 16. And I got that literally just from adding 6x to both sides. Okay. And then once I did that, I solved that bottom equation. So I'm not going to use the bottom equation. I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it into the equation that I didn't use. So I'm going to plug it into the top equation for the y variable. So then that's going to be negative 4x plus 5. And then wherever that y was, you put parentheses and plug in what you got it to equal. So the 6x minus 16 and then that equals 24. And then we can just solve this, and you should know how to solve this equation. So first, I would distribute that 5 into both of those. So you get negative 4x. 5 times 6x is 30x. 5 times negative 16 is negative 80, and that equals 24. Combine your x's here, so negative 4x plus 30 is 26. We still have that negative 80 equals 24. Finish solving this, so I'm going to add the 80 over. 24 plus 80 is 104. Then to get x by itself, the last step is to just divide by that 26, which means that x equals 4. Okay, and that's half of our solution. We still have to solve for the other half, and the other half's easy, especially when we're doing substitution, because this was already solved for y. So now we can take that, this x equals 4, and plug it into the equation that we solved for y. So we can plug it in right there, and that's going to be 6 times 4 minus 16, which 6 times 4 is 24, so 24 minus 16 is 8. And then your final solution here, like it is x equals 4 and y equals 8, but it will always be written as an ordered pair. So it's going to be x, y, so it's going to be 4, 8. Like when you're looking through, because everything's multiple choice now, just because it's a lot easier for me to grade. But it will be written like this. It's not going to be 8, 4, because it's always alphabetical order. So the x goes first and the y comes second, because in our alphabet, x comes first, y comes second. Okay. Questions with that? Okay, I'm going to do one more. So if we have negative 2x plus 5y equals 13, and x minus y equals negative 5. Same thing, we want to figure out which variable to solve for. I always solve for whatever I think is the easiest. So like this negative 2x, we have to divide, and that's not going to be super easy. 5y, have to divide. This x looks easy, and then we have a negative y. I'm going to choose the x since it's positive, and then we can just add that y over. So we're going to solve the bottom equation for x. And that's going to be x equals y minus 5, because I just added y to both sides. And then we use the bottom equation, so I'm just going to ignore it. And I'm going to plug this back into the top equation for that x right there. So that's going to be negative 2 times y minus 5 plus 5y equals 13. Solve this. You should know how to solve equations like this. We just distribute that negative 2 in. So that's negative 2y, and then negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. Remember, negative times negative is a positive. And then plus 5y equals 13. We can combine those y's right there. So negative 2y and 5y is 3y plus 10 equals 13. Subtract the 10. So you get 3y equals 3. Divide by 3, and you get y equals 1. I don't think I gave you any that weren't whole numbers. Like every solution you get should be a whole number. If you get a decimal, you probably made a mistake. Go back and double check it before you click like none of these are no solution or whatever. But then we've solved for y, so we can plug that into the equation we solved for x. And we just get x equals 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. Write your answer as an ordered pair, so that's going to be negative 4, 1. This should be kind of review, like you should have done this in secondary too. That doesn't necessarily mean you remember it, but you should have done it. So hopefully it's kind of review. But that's basically it. So is there any questions on that? We're all okay with that. Okay, I want to show you the assignment for today. So if you go, yours obviously looks a teeny bit different than this. But so here's the video, which goes through all of this. And I barely made these videos, so I think they're a little bit better than the ones I had previously. Oh, I know they are because I just barely made them. But so watch this if you're confused still. And then here is the assignment for today. And you have to go on and do this assignment. So if you're in 5th period, you're going to click this link. If you're in 6th period, click that link. If you're in 7th, click that link. So like, I'll just pretend I'm in 6th period. So here, it will already have the class code. So just put join. And then put your full name. So obviously you're not going to put Lexi Gagan because I'm Lexi Gagan. But put your name and then just push go. And then it's going to pull up this right here. Okay. And then you're just going to click through this. So like this first one, type an XY ordered pair to put a point on this line. So like if I look, I don't know, like this point right there, that point is -4, 1. And that is going to put a point right there. So that point in the, like, see, Haley had put 0, 9. Kaysen put -4, 1 also. Marley put -1, 7. So just put a point that is somewhere on that line. And then keep going through this. Find a solution for this. So basically, like if you plug in 1 for X, 1 + 2 is 3. So that would mean Y = 3. So this would be 1, 3. And share it with the class. And when you share it, you'll see other people's. So like Ellie put that X = 3, which means Y must = 5. Then continue going through this. Here's your ordered pair right there. We want to know if this is correct. Like this one is correct because it's on the line. Okay. And then just keep typing through this. Is there an ordered pair that is a solution for this? Yes, there is because it crosses. And then just keep going through this. If you get stuck on any of these, you can ask me. I think they're pretty straightforward. Like this one, for example, so this is number 9. It's asking if this has a solution. Well, notice that their slopes are different. So that means even though we can't see their intersection point, they're going to eventually intersect. So they do have a solution there. Okay, and then just keep going. This one, see, those are parallel. Remember, parallel lines never have a solution, so that one would be no. And then this last one, you just want to graph 2 lines that have this. So just play around with it, and then you can check your answer. Okay, and I know some people are having troubles, like it's not letting you push submit. I'm not really sure why, but I can see all of your work. So just as long as you go through 1 through 11, you should be fine. Then you can just like exit out of this. Like if I exit out of this right now, that's fine. And it will pop up on my thing and you'll be good. And I'll just give you credit for that. Okay, is there any questions on the assignments for that? Remember, you can shut your mic off and if you need to ask a question, but. Okay, and then for there's a quiz. It's only like 5 questions. I basically went through your quiz questions, but if I push preview here, so here I just need to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So it's going to be one of these. Solve this. I would solve by substitution. Eliminations next time. I'm not sure why I wrote elimination, but solve this equation. Solve this equation. So there's 3 equations. Like this one, if you have one pop up like this, the y is already solved for here. So then just plug that into the top equation and solve the top equation for x. So like this one honestly is easier than these 2. And this last one, I just kind of know, I want to know how you're doing with this. So on a scale from 1 to 10, tell me like, how well do you understand this? And if you could teach it to a friend. Because if you could teach it to a friend, that means you understand it pretty well. If you're like, I don't think I could, tell me so that I can either like, and tell me what was confusing to you so I can try to answer that. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I'll stay on for like 15, 20 minutes if you guys have questions, and I can pull up just my iPad and I can write stuff on there. If not, this is being recorded, so I will just post it on probably the assignment page so that if you need to go look at this again, or like if you missed part of the PowerPoint I went through in the first 10-ish minutes, then it will be on there. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this, but if you have questions, how do I stop presenting? Stop sharing. If you have questions, please ask. I'll stay on here for a second. You just have to unmute your mic to ask questions, but I have my iPad so I can present and talk on there if you need me to. Okay. You're welcome.